What does a full-bodied yes feel like for you? And conversely, what does it feel like when your heart needs care? When you need time for rest, to grieve, to cry? What authentically lights you up? And what are you willing to do about that? How can you integrate what authentically lights you up more into your day-to-day life? And what if that's pointing you towards your purpose here? We'll be talking about that and more on this week's episode of Our Waking Dream. I'm your host, Coco Swanson. Thanks for being here. If you're new, welcome. Each week on this show, I go over one basic astrology theme that's moving through the day or the week or the period of time. I do it in a way that we can embody, that we bring inquiry questions deducted from, that we have energy healing, that we have somatic practices, that we have conversational tools that integrate it, that we bring astrology down to earth. Over on my site, I have a whole ecosystem of support. I've got a membership platform in which I'm creating a library that's been a long time in the making, that applies to lifestyle, leadership, love, and it's categorized. I'm starting to build it out quite robustly right now. I'm excited. Also, every other week, you can jump on for free to problem solve with me. Every other Sunday, Solutions Lab. You can sign up for any of those on my website, which there's a link below. Okay, this said, let's dive into the astrology of the week. If you've been listening in, you know that we have a party in Leo right now with an emphasis of really reconciling anything that's going on within the themes of Leo, and that's of the heart, matters of the heart, and matters of being seen and celebrating and seeing each other, and being in tribe, in a pride like a Leo lion pride. And we have emphasis on Leo because the South Node is now in Leo. In addition, we have the Sun in Leo, we have Mercury, and we have Jupiter. And this week, actually tomorrow, so on August 17th, we have Jupiter at 10 degrees of Leo, and it is in a sextile to Venus at 10 degrees of Libra. We also have Mercury at 14 degrees of Leo tomorrow, trining Saturn at 14 degrees of Aries. What's that mean, Cokes? Well, let's go over it. I'll break it down with a basic upper level, just not getting too far into the weeds of each one of those, because I want to focus on the bigger picture of what I feel like it means. This said, keep in mind, any astrologer you talk to will give a slightly different vantage point because we're interpreting metaphor and we do it through our own lens. So this is Coco's lens. First off, we've got Jupiter in Leo. Jupiter expands anything that it's in. It's like Santa Claus. So it's a big emphasis in Leo. Well, that means joy, creativity, expansion, generosity, authentic self-expression is enhanced. And as it's sextiling, that's a harmonious relationship. Venus, it's sextiling Venus, so it's in a harmonious relationship with the planet of love, of value. Venus points out and helps us embody what we love and we value more. It's in Libra. It's at home in Libra, because Libra is one of Venus's signs. So it emphasizes beauty, pleasure, balance, relationships, and harmony. So essentially, with this configuration tomorrow, it's quite good. It's in relation to beauty, pleasure, following your authentic expression and your heart's joy. It's essentially like Joseph Campbell says, it's follow your bliss. Keep in mind, this is in a time where there are a lot of devastating things happening on the planet. And so I don't know how that's impacting you personally right now, but we can't follow our bliss without having the capacity to do that at a heart's level. So I'll be talking about that more in a minute, but that's an important piece, is that we can only access the higher notes of a sign in a planet if we've reconciled the lower notes, the shadow, the wounds. Okay, so bookmark that. Then we have Mercury in Leo. Well, Mercury is about perception. It's about how we listen, how we use our voice. So it's giving voice to the heart, to authentic self-expression, to jazz hands. That's Leo's like go big or go home. It shows up and it lights up wherever it's at. So our communication, because it's Mercury, is lit up. This is what I feel. This is who I love or how I love. It's an invitation to see through the heart. And that is trining Saturn that's retrograde in Aries. And so Saturn is here to give structure. Aries is all about the impulse of being me, or in your case, you. It's the first sign. It's a fire sign. That's what makes it a trine. It's 2 fire signs at 14 degrees with Mercury at 14 degrees of Leo on the 17th of August and Saturn at 14 degrees of Aries. And so the invitation is give your yes somewhere to go. Give it legs. Communicate. Be more courageous with who you are in the world. What helps your light shine is given like a double thumbs up right now. Okay, let's talk about capacity, our heart's capacity in traumatic times. Because I'm filming this today from my aunt and uncles at a different place in the state than I live because I'm really sensitive to air quality. And right now, my hometown is on fire, parts of it. I think it's starting to be contained, but it's quite devastating. And there are lots of forest fires and urban fires right now. There's political unrest, there's housing unrest, crisis all over the place. So before we can access our own joy, we might have to take care of our hearts. So care always takes precedence, because how can we be expected to be joyful and exuberant when really we need to grieve? So this episode in particular will be focusing on more of the shinier, higher, easier aspects of Leo and the expression, that the invitation of expression and action. Yet if you're listening to this and feeling sad, or you're confused, or you're grieving, etc., jump on over to my other YouTube channel with Coco Swanson. I just made last week an unconditional love practice where you bathe yourself and the world in unconditional love. Reach out to your allies because they're traumatic times. We need each other. And so you can always be the inner witness to know if you have access to joy. Yay, go for it. But if you're actually feeling something like sadness, confusion, then you want to address that first. Yeah? When we're exploring Leo, we're exploring our passion. So first and foremost, we need to discover what it feels like when we're lit up in an authentic way that we can't help but smile, laugh, be joyful. So what does a full-bodied yes feel like for you? Get to know that this week. This is something to bring into your journal, the following questions. And I've started to post these journal questions down below so you can cut and paste them. Because conversely, how do you know when your heart is needing care? What are your signs? What happens physically? Is there a tightening physically? For me, sometimes I'll tighten in my throat. or my shoulders will get tight, or I'll feel just this kind of ball in my belly, a tight ball. And I'll know that my system is actually needing processing time. And what processing works best for you? Sometimes a simple rest, going and lying down, or a cry. Do you have access to your tears? Do you have friends you can lean into just to cry if you're needing to process emotionally? To grieve? How do you help heal your own heart? Really bring this to the forefront so you can get to know the full yes when it's there, but you can also get to know the not yet. It's not time for the full yes, it's time to grieve. Also, who do you authentically love? Explore this, journal about it. What lights you up? The more that you bring it to the forefront, the more that can return to you, because what we focus on grows. Also, what if your pleasure is pointing you towards your purpose? What if when you press into your pleasure, even small pleasurable moments like enjoying a sunset or taking a deep breath of air, what if the small and the large pleasures in your life point you towards your purpose? What would you do about it? It's the action. And where could your joy also bring you into your service? What if they're linked, your joy and your service? These are the inquiry questions I'd bring into this, as the emphasis on Leo is exaggerated and lighting up what we love in Venus, and the emphasis in Leo with Mercury is lighting up how we communicate, right? And the structure in which we're bringing our lives. Practice number 2, I suggest party breaks, specifically dance party breaks, but they're on purpose, because when we're jazzed and we bring our imagination together, it's a very powerful link. It's a creative link. So, we were all born knowing how to play, have fun. We were born knowing how to dance, how to sing. Somewhere along the line, that got quieted. But this is an inherent skill. So let's deliberately create spaces to reignite that sense of play, that sense of dance, that song. With this, I suggest setting your alarm. So you have different breaks throughout the day that are just embodying pleasure breaks. Soon as that alarm goes off, you think about what brings you pleasure. Think about it. And this is like if you were in a movie and it basically lit up a whole day that was filled of things that you just loved. You want to think about those. You have as much money, as many friends, as your lover, whoever it is, you've got. And then you imagine the best day ever. Joy-filled, pleasure-filled day. Then you put on your favorite dance song and you dance. You dance like nobody's watching. As you move, you imagine, you sense. You get into the movie of imagining that which brings you pleasure. We're just getting this muscle going. And then you dance it as if it's already happening. You picture it as if it's happening while you groove. You feel it, you express it, and you celebrate it as if it's happening. So you imagine what brings you pleasure, and then you bring it into your imagination as you're dancing as if no one's watching. So it's moving through your body, it's moving through your mind, and it's moving through your heart. Well, that's like as powerful as it can get in relation to somatic experiencing, which translates into body experiencing. The soma is the body. And when we bring something into our form in a way that brings us exuberant joy, and we couple that with our imagination, then we are stamping what we want and our heart's desire into the universe with a lot of power. Joy is contagious, and it's going to inform all of your biology and all of the world through the embodiment of it. Practice number 3 I suggest is a somatic practice to help shift your focus into a lens that carries more compassion and more love through a very simple exercise that uses your imagination. A somatic exercise. It's compassion glasses. So basically, how we're perceiving everything, how I perceive my life, my world, how you perceive your life, the world is impacting it. So why not you imagine at the beginning of the day, this is to shift your intention, to shift your focus, that you're actually putting on glasses that are like rose-colored glasses, but they're compassion-colored glasses. So if you have glasses, you actually imagine that those glasses, as you put them on, you command, I am open to change. I see the world through love and compassion. You say those two things because commands, mantras, our systems do really well. They change with mantra. And so if you say, I am open to change, then your whole system reorientates to be open to change. So if we say, I'm open to change and I choose to see the world through love and compassion, and you put on your glasses, either real or imagined, then that shifts your physiology. And it can shift it for the day. But then what you do is you move through your day and notice. Notice when you're seeing things through compassionate eyes, and notice when you're seeing and sensing the world through loving eyes and when you're not. Simply notice and then follow the impulse to be more compassionate, to be more loving. And notice what happens to you and those that you're working with, those that you're involved with, when you choose and you command to see the world through more loving eyes. Because this has a ripple effect. Because our perception and our stress, if we have a stressful, fearful perception, it narrows our ability to think creatively, to see outside the box, to see solutions. And so as we build an inner witness, we're able to see on purpose through more humane, compassionate eyes, just imagining what it would like to be in their shoes, whoever they are, even somebody on the road, or, where is it that you normally aren't compassionate? Put on your glasses then and see what changes in your perception from that point, because compassion and love can widen our perception. Notice what happens and let each micro shift ripple out, bringing awareness to something helps strengthen it. Okay, I think that brings us to the end of this week's episode. So again, our heart's capacity is only as strong as our care is. So if you're experiencing sadness, grief, etc. right now, care for your heart until it tips over where you have access to joy. You have access to turn on a dance song and imagine and feel and sense into your pleasure, or put on your compassion glasses and see the world differently. Then see what happens, really. Because the more compassion we carry, the more love, the more excitement, the more that returns to us. Let me know how this works for you. I love hearing from you. Also, you can give me questions I solve on Notes from the Field. I solve one each week on my other YouTube channel. And so keep the questions coming. And until next week, I'll see you again here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being a part of our community here at Our Waking Dream. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Fill my cup and let it overflow. Let it overflow with love.